I received a phone call today from a close friend of Susan and mine, Leah Mandel in Dallas, Texas. I'll just tell the story. The way, we met Leah in 1998. When I left TBN, I wrote a book called Judgment Day. It's 1998. The front cover of Judgment Day had the Twin Towers of New York City.
This was in 1998.
98. The World Trade Center Twin Towers were exploding on the front cover of my book, a lightning bolt striking the Twin Towers. That was the front cover. Why did we choose that design? I have no idea other than the inspiration of the Holy Spirit. And so the book was called Judgment Day. I resigned from TBN the first week of September 1998. I stepped out of that role and began traveling the nation, preaching in churches, preaching in hotels, any place that I could get a crowd. And I told them what the Lord said to me in that vision and what he said to me in the summer following the vision in spring of 1998. And that's when he spoke to me about North Korea. Now, during that time, he spoke to me about an EMP attack. I didn't know what an EMP was. All this stuff was new. He talked to me about chemical, biological warfare, smallpox, and so forth. That's when I heard about derivatives, that the economic system would collapse because of derivatives. That all came in the summer of 98. And so I wrote the book in the summer of 98. And when it was finished, I resigned from TBN. And in the fall of 98, my daughter Carissa heard about a Christian, let's call it a prophetic meeting. And it was hosted by Bill Koenig. And Bill has a website. He's been covering news involving Israel for about 20 years. And Bill and I are good friends. And in fact, Bill was the co-host of this program when we started in the beginning.
Wow, I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
No.
Do you know Bill?
Absolutely. He's still actually a White House correspondent.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. So Bill was my co-host for the first couple of months. And then he went out on his own. That's how he became a White House correspondent and all that. So that's that story. So anyhow, my daughter Carissa said, Dad, I heard about a prophecy meeting in Dallas-Fort Worth. I want to say Garland. For some reason, I'm thinking it was in the Garland, Texas area. And she said, I just have this feeling you're supposed to go. And so at the last minute, I went. It was a weeknight. I was thinking it's a Thursday night. It was in I think it was in a hotel, a meeting room. And so I went in, sat down in the back. I didn't know anybody there. And to my surprise, Bill Koenig recognized me. We had not met at this time, but he had read my book. And I was shocked that anybody had read my book. And because it had just come out weeks earlier. And so he said, there's a new book. And the author is sitting back here. Please stand up. So I stood up, and he said, tell us the name of the book. And I said, Judgment Day. And I sat back down. That was it. Well, when I sat down, this person behind me tapped me on my shoulder and whispered, I must speak to you. Can you meet me in the hallway? So I turned and looked, and there was this lady. And so I got up from my chair, and I walked outside into the foyer, and she was shaking, literally shaking, trembling. And she said, you're the man that was in my dreams. And I go, what are you talking about? She said, 2 years ago, I had a dream. There was a man sitting at a computer. He was typing. I saw a book come down from the sky. It went into his head, and then it came out his fingers, and he typed it. And then I saw the title of the book, and it was called Judgment Day. And I have been praying for you for 2 years, not even knowing who you are, I've simply prayed for that man I saw in the dream, that God would give him that book and he would fulfill the Lord's assignment. Now, that's how Leah Mandel and I met. It's kind of hard to forget somebody that you meet like that, right?
It's powerful.
So she's remained friends with Susan and I over the years. And we don't talk a lot. We don't see each other, now that I haven't lived in Texas, for quite some time.
Have you had any other conversations with her?
Just by phone,
right.
Just by telephone. She, calls us. Back when we lived in Texas, we would get together. Mm-hmm. But, after I left Texas, we just had phone conversations, maybe, 1 or 2 times a year.
Right.
All right. Just to stay in touch.
Right.
Okay? So here's what happened. August 11, 2001. We were living in, our office was in Granbury, Texas.
Right.
And I was driving from the office to the post office, and I got a call from Leah Mandel, and she said, Rick, something very odd is happening today. I said, what? She said, alarm bells. I go, what do you mean alarm bells? She goes, everywhere I go today, there are alarms ringing. I go, what are you talking about? She goes, like car alarms, burglar alarms, fire alarms, even oven alarms, microwave, everything. Every place I go, there I hear alarms ringing. And she goes, what's really strange is the people are having trouble turning the alarms off. I go into stores and the alarm is ringing. I go to an office, the alarm is ringing. And she goes, and they can't get the thing to turn off. It's been going on all day. And she said, I said, well, why are you telling me? She said, the Lord told me, call Rick Wiles and tell him the alarms are ringing. And this time they will not be turned off. And the moment she said it, my seatbelt alarm started ringing. And I was wearing my seatbelt. And I told her, and she goes, see what I mean? See, it's weird. I said, yeah, this is weird. My auto seatbelt alarm is ringing and my seatbelt is buckled. And so that was August 11, 2001. 30 days later was September 11.
And if you remember on September 11th, one of the most stunning images or videos that came out of that was, in my recollection, was seeing rubble everywhere, but alarms going off.
Yes.
And devices,
Yes.
phones ringing and car
Yes.
alarms going off, building alarms going off. It was like, but there was no movement. There was nothing going on but alarms.
That's right. I remember that. Mm-hmm. So let's fast forward. Today, this morning, Leah called me this morning. And she said, Rick, the alarms are ringing. I go, no, please don't tell me this. She goes, Rick, today, the alarms are ringing. Everywhere I go today.
I'm just getting goosebumps right now.
Alarms are ringing. And she said, and there's something else. I said, what? She said, dead birds. I'm seeing dead birds. They're, it seems like I'm just everywhere I go, there's a dead bird. And I said, Leah, this is really strange. As Susan and I was driving to the church today, a bird hit our windshield. I said it wasn't like he flew into the windshield. It was almost like he fell out of the sky. I mean, I didn't see a bird flying across the road. It was like it just fell out of the sky and hit our windshield.
Right.
And she said, you see what I mean? And then it hit me. I realized today's date, August 11.
Wow.